They had an opinion poll on Dunphy. 98% get rid of him. I defended a lot of players as well. Wes Hoolahan would be a good example. Roy Keane at a certain time would have been a good example of a player I defended. I mean, the stuff they wrote about Roy Keane in the Irish papers here for a very long time when he was young, a young pro, was absolutely disgusting. Questioned his background, his family, and all kinds of stuff. It wasn't as if I was the only person in town, you know, in the media business having a go at players. I was having to go at different players for different things. Generally, I wouldn't have any problem walking into a room full of players on the grounds that someone would say, you know, you unfairly attacked me. Mm-hmm. But there isn't really. I was hard on Steve Staunton when he got the job as Irish team manager. That was Delaney, John Delaney again. You know, dropping him in. But we had to call that. You know, and I did it in a sort of fairly trenchant way. But that's the way I worked. I wasn't hitting anyone on the head with a hammer. I was just being trenchantly critical, which I think is legitimate.
Mm-hmm. Do you regret not being more critical of John Delaney than you were?
Yes, I do. Through John Giles, who had a closer relationship with Delaney, I got sort of sucked into that. He was getting me tickets for matches and stuff. And it was regrettable. It was wrong. It was lazy. And I deserved, you know, no respect for that. And I wasn't trying to hide it. I declared myself, you know, to be getting tickets off him, for example, and taking a sympathetic view of him. That was part of his con. But probably in the 1980s, I wouldn't have been close enough to be getting tickets and stuff like that. But there's a distance there.
Yeah.
And definitely Delaney, you know, fooled me.
Yeah.
And I was foolish. And I got sucked in to a relationship where I could ring him up and say, can I have 2 tickets for a Manchester United match? He had 20 Manchester United tickets, you know, I believe. And that was, and that's what I was doing. Then when what he really was became apparent, I was obviously appalled. But I did out myself. No one said, we've caught you.
Yeah.
I said, this is wrong, I've got to out myself. Because if someone else had been doing it, I'd have been after them.
And you went to his 50th birthday party as well?
I went to his 50th birthday party with John.
Is that a source of embarrassment? No?
It is a source of embarrassment, yeah. And like, it was in a big way. It was down in... Anyway, it was in... But I did go. Yeah, it was embarrassing. Deeply embarrassing. And I outed myself.
The comments that in advance of Ronaldo playing for Manchester United, that he was nothing but a cod.
Yeah.
Seemed to backfire that night when he got a hat-trick, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
Has subsequently backfired on the basis of the number of Champions Leagues he has won, the fact he has won the European Championships with Portugal, and his goal-scoring record, which is absolutely extraordinary. So, with the benefit of 18 years of hindsight, do you still feel he is a cod? Oh no,
he's one of the greatest players of all time. And that was one of the greatest mistakes of all time. And there's a mural up in Phibsborough, I think, that shows me speaking those silly words. But on the night, as you say, he got a hat-trick. And you have to sit through. I had to sit through that. Ronaldo became. When I was at my most savage, he was about 21, 22. Mm-hmm. He'd just gone to United. Mm-hmm. He was a diver, and he was, throwing his hands up in the air and feigning injuries and he was doing all those things, which were not the hallmarks of great players, but he became a phenomenon, the likes of which we've never seen. I mean, this man has scored more goals than anyone else in the history of football. Mm-hmm. So he's been a great player, to put it mildly, one of the greatest of all time. But again, you're sitting in a television studio, you have your doubts about this guy, and you don't go along with the crowd. Yeah. What are you to do? I think you should express yourself, and then everyone knows where you stand. If you're wrong, and if, as in this case, you're grotesquely wrong, you're done. But I think that goes with the territory. Yes. I mean, if you're getting paid to do something, do it. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you're going to get it wrong, you're going to get it wrong. Mm-hmm. But that's the way the job should be done. Mm-hmm. I think people then would always say, would you rather have him on making the odd mistake, and it was the odd mistake, you couldn't be doing it every week, or would you rather him off? And I think hopefully, from everyone's point of view, the people I was working with, RTE, they'd rather have me on.
So you had a 40-year career in punditry?
From 1978 it started. Yes. The World Cup. Yes. Me and Bill, just the two of us, to about 2018.
Yeah, so that's phenomenal. Yeah. Career, considering your playing career. Yeah. Was largely spent in the lower divisions in England. Yeah. So is that a source of pride that you reached that critical moment in your life where one career is end, your playing days are over, your coaching days are over, and you're at a position then, I guess, a crossroads in terms of raising your family and how you're going to bring in an income. Yeah. Is that a deep source of pride that you were able to, help your children through life and give them every advantage on the back of your second career?
Well, it is a source of satisfaction and pride to a certain extent that together with Bill O'Herlihy, John Giles and Liam Brady, we created something that was very good, maybe the best of its kind, over a period of time. And I was part of that. I was influential in that. And along with those people, I'm, very proud that people, football fans like us, which we are, found it enlightening, satisfying, fun, and all the things. And people now speak with affection about John, Liam, myself, Bill. And yeah, I am proud of it. And I think it's nice that something that we worked very hard at and didn't follow any other English panel, which, most of them are no good. We didn't go down that road. We were three Northside lads. We all could express ourselves, and we did our stuff. Yeah, I think we should be, proud of it and pleased with it. But yeah, I think RTE Sport now is poor, and they have also matches that fans can't see. I mean, that's unthinkable when you're paying a licence fee. They've stopped free-to-air in certain circumstances. The pundits themselves, I don't think there'll be anybody having a go at Roy Keane or Ronaldo anytime soon. I think the public deserves from analysts, which I wouldn't use the word pundit. If you're an analyst, what the public deserve is your knowledge, your opinion on certain matters, your knowledge of the game, and they deserve it in an unqualified way. This is what I think. And then you may be wrong sometimes, but you should be right more often than you're wrong. So I kind of don't see that there. Is there anybody there you think would stand up or would say anything that would surprise you or offend you? No. So they don't really do the job. They're just sitting there going through the motions, mostly. And now Didi Hammam, who worked with us and continues to contribute, Didi's different. And you can see the difference. But they don't use him very often, you know.
Do you rate Roy Keane as a pundit?
He's certainly not afraid to express himself. And he does, particularly in the Manchester United games, which is when they tend to use him. In general, I wouldn't say he's a very reflective or revealing pundit. He's not a real good judge, you know, the way Graham Souness would be. I don't think Roy's that, but he certainly calls it as he sees it. He's not afraid of any of that. But I'm not sure how, if you take John Giles, say, as the best and the most knowledgeable, I don't think Roy has the knowledge and the overall vision of a game, any given game, to say these are the key areas where Manchester United, say, are failing. He will call it, but he won't always be right. So he's an interesting acquisition for Sky. They use him well, they pay him well. He, you know, I say he's okay. I don't think he was a great player. A really, absolutely magnificent player for a very long time. Now, I was a useless player, but I was a really good pundit. I think you're better off having a good player than a good pundit. So, but Roy is not a great pundit, but he's a good one.
As a pundit, you defended Keane in the mid-2000s after an English journalist called Rod Liddle wrote a critical article of Keane.
Yeah.
If you Google Eamon Dunphy's name, Rod Liddle comes up straight away.
Does it? Yeah.
Can you? Are there any regrets about what you said about Liddle that time?
Yes. It was completely wrong, but there had been a story. Bill O'Hurley raised it, and it was Bill I was angry at, because I was trying to defend Roy, and Bill came up with this Rod Liddle attack on Keane.
Yes.
And I happened to know that he was at the Spectator where he was working. He had broken his marriage up to run off with what I called a young one. And I said it to Bill as a way of putting Liddle down. It was a horrendous thing to say. If you asked me before I had any regrets, certainly, that was insane. But I said it, and Bill got, very upset. I don't blame him. And we were wondering what it would cost us in libel. But
and what did it cost you in libel?
Nothing.
Right.
What happened then was a desperate thing to say, altogether.
And you apologised to Liddle the next day?
Well, I'll tell you, I on the Monday, or the following day, actually, I think it might have been a midweek match, Joe Duffy rang me up. He said, would you come on and talk about that? And I was glad to go on, because I wanted to explain to everyone. I was mortified at myself.
Yes.
And certainly apologies were due all round. So I went on Joe's live line, and what he didn't tell me was he had Rod Liddle on the other line until he said, hello Eamon, you're very welcome. By the way, we managed to get Rod Liddle, who's on the other line. Now, he may have thought that this would be a big row, but I immediately said, Rod, I know what I did was unforgivable, and I'm terribly sorry. Would you please forgive me? And he said, yeah, no problem. Because he was a Millwall fan, and he remains a Millwall fan. And I spoke to him in the not-too-distant past. Now, that incident was 20-something years ago. Mm-hmm. And he said, by the way, that young one I ran off with, I married her and we're still together. So what I had depicted as an adulterous and rather shabby affair was nothing of the kind. So that was another absolutely sacking offence, I would say, but I wasn't sacked.
The biggest controversy of the 1990s was during the 1990 World Cup, when Ireland played Egypt and didn't play well at all and got a scoreless draw, and the perception was that you had thrown your pen across the studio.
Yeah.
Now, with the benefit of YouTube, we can see that you just dropped your pen after speaking. Yet the controversy that surrounded that at the time was extraordinary. It was the biggest story of the World Cup outside of the matches. Firstly, why was that so controversial? What does that say about the Ireland of the time that it was so controversial? And do you feel that this was a turning point in RTE's punditry, that people realised that we're not going to have cheerleaders on, we're going to have serious criticism and observations of what we're watching?
Yeah, I mean, that particular game was very poor. Jack's interview after the match he said, he's talking about the skin colour of the Egyptians, the fella who was very black and the fella who was not quite so black. It was desperate. And we were sitting in the studio thinking, oh God. But anyway, I had a right go at him for the team and for his way of expressing himself. And then I had a pen in my hand, and then I just dropped it. Now, I think at that stage, it was the Herald, I think, was the first paper out the next day, and there I was. They had an opinion poll on Dunphy, 98%, get rid of him. So it's the worst opinion poll in history. But it was a big fuss over very little, really. Then, the people I feel in hindsight sorry for were my children.
Okay.
My son and my daughter, Tim and Colette, who were, children then, and it was tough for them, and indeed for my family. They didn't like it, my family.
In what way was it tough for them?
Well, we were an ordinary family, and he was this mouth going around Ireland, not only doing the football punditry, but writing in the Sunday Independent, incendiary stuff about John Hume and Mary Robinson and all God's gifts to the nation. So it was. I came from a family that happily didn't value that kind of stuff and didn't really want to be propelled, or he wanted their son to be propelled into that kind of limelight, and they were right. Now, that would be a big regret.
Eamon, with regard to your opinion of Heimer Haldgrimsson, has that altered for the better on the back of his recent, in the back of Ireland's recent good results, or would you stick to your firm belief that it is best to replace Heimer with Damien Duff as Ireland's manager at this stage?
Yeah, I would not narrow it down to Damien Duff. I thought the whole process of hiring Heimer was flawed. We didn't really do our homework. We didn't try to get the best. They produced him out of a hat, and here you go, a new man from Iceland. And it wasn't the right way to do it. So and the start wasn't very good. But I have to say that in the last couple of games, the Irish team has had a shape. It's had a consistency about the team. Same players mostly used, and shaping up a bit better. So I wouldn't replace him with Damien Duff, but I wouldn't recommend the method the FAI used to appoint him. It remains to be seen, because how the Irish team does matters a lot to the football in this country, but it doesn't just depend on the coach, on the head coach. It depends on many, many other things, not least the players he's got at his disposal. What I would say is they have shown signs, and he is the person we have to credit. They've shown signs that they are a unit, that they're getting better, and have a better understanding of what they need to do to improve. So the jury's out on him, like it is on most managers and some pundits.